Ignite your life by confronting your doubts. Ever felt that invisible chain, the one that yanks you back just as you're about to leap? That's doubt, my friend, a silent saboteur, a ghost that haunts the corridors of our brightest ambitions. It whispers insidious lies, convinces you that the water is too deep, the mountain too high, or simply that you are not enough. But what if I told you that this very doubt, this heavy anchor, could become the fuel to ignite a life more vibrant and authentic than you've ever imagined? It's time to stop being its prisoner and start becoming its interrogator. Doubt isn't a monolithic beast. It wears many faces. There's the insidious self-doubt, that nagging inner critic that questions your every ability, your worth, your very essence. It's the voice that says, "Who are you to even try?" Then there's the doubt about our own untapped potential, a tragic forgetting of the immense power that lies dormant within us. Like a sleeping giant, we're too afraid to wake. And, of course, there's the paralyzing doubt concerning life's myriad choices. Which path to take, which door to open, which dream to pursue when the options seem endless and the stakes feel impossibly high. This leads us to a fascinating, almost cruel paradox of modern life. Cast your mind back, not even that far, to the lives of our grandparents or great-grandparents. For many, life's script was largely pre-written. Your family name, your social standing, your father's profession. These often dictated your destiny. Choices were limited, a narrow corridor through which life flowed. You were a farmer because your father was a farmer. You married within your community because that's what was expected. The path was clear, if restrictive. There wasn't an overwhelming menu of identities or careers to agonize over. Fast forward to today. We've shattered those rigid structures, and in their place, a vast, glittering supermarket of choices has emerged. We can be anything, go anywhere, reinvent ourselves a dozen times over. The internet flings open doors to careers that didn't exist a decade ago, connects us with global communities, and bombards us with images of seemingly perfect lives. We are, in theory, freer than any generation before us. Yet, are we happier? Are we more certain? For many, the answer is a resounding, anxiety-laden no. We stand in the aisle of life, utterly overwhelmed by the sheer volume of options, paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice. The script is gone, and we're left staring at a terrifyingly blank page. It's a strange inversion, isn't it? In the past, it was incredibly difficult to change your life if you were unhappy with its trajectory. The social and economic barriers were immense. Today, the challenge isn't so much changing an established life, but choosing one to begin with. We have the freedom to architect our own existence, but we're often like novice builders handed an infinite supply of materials and no blueprint, overwhelmed, indecisive, and terrified of laying the first stone. The core of this modern malaise often boils down to a painful equation. Choosing is losing. When you select one path, one partner, one career, one city to call home, you are, by definition, relinquishing all other equivalent possibilities that shimmered with potential. Each yes is simultaneously a chorus of no's to other lives you could have lived. This awareness can generate an enormous, often unacknowledged, sense of loss. We mourn the roads not taken, the selves we might have become. We're haunted by the ghosts of these alternative existences, wondering if the grass truly was greener on the other side of that unchosen fence. The fear of missing out, FOMO, becomes a constant companion, whispering that perhaps, just perhaps, a better option slipped through our fingers. But here's the crucial counterpoint, the truth that can set us free. If we don't choose, paralyzed by the fear of losing those other options, we end up losing everything. We lose the chance to experience any of those lives deeply. We lose the joy of commitment, the growth that comes from navigating a chosen path, and ultimately, we lose the very thing we were trying to preserve, the potential for a fulfilling life. Inaction, born of indecision, ensures we miss out on all possibilities, including the one we might have loved. The banquet is laid out, but we starve, unable to pick a dish. So, what's happening in our brains when we're caught in this cycle of doubt and indecision? Our prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive decision maker, works in tandem with emotional centers like the amygdala. When faced with a choice, these areas light up, weighing pros and cons, potential risks and rewards. This is a healthy, adaptive process. However, pathological doubt, the kind that becomes chronic and debilitating, throws a wrench in the works. It can create a feedback loop of anxiety, where the fear of making a mistake becomes so overwhelming that the decision-making process itself grinds to a halt. The brain gets stuck in a what-if cycle, replaying scenarios endlessly, often magnifying potential negative outcomes. This isn't just mentally exhausting. It can have tangible impacts on our well-being, leading to increased stress, anxiety disorders, and a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction. It's like a computer trying to run too many programs at once. It freezes, unable to perform even the simplest task. If you're finding this exploration of doubt and choice resonating with you, I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps this community grow and allows me to keep creating content like this, aimed at understanding ourselves and our world a little better. Don't forget to share it with anyone you think might benefit, and I always love reading your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. All right, back to our journey. Now, what happens when the doubt isn't just about external choices, but cuts deeper to the very core of who we are? What if the doubt stems from that gut-wrenching feeling of inadequacy? I'm not smart enough for that job. I'm not attractive enough to be loved. I'm not talented enough to pursue my passion. This is self-doubt in its most corrosive form. It's not about a lack of information or too many options. It's about a perceived lack within oneself. This kind of doubt is far more complex and demands a more profound level of introspection. It often whispers that we are fundamentally flawed, that we lack some essential ingredient for success or happiness. This can lead to a profound lack of purpose, a sense that nothing we do will ever be good enough. So why bother trying? This is the doubt that truly paralyzes, that keeps us small, hidden, and disconnected from our own inner fire. It's the doubt that convinces us to settle, to shrink, to abandon our dreams before we've even taken the first step. So, how do we begin to dismantle this fortress of self-doubt? The answer lies in courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. It requires the courage to be imperfect, to acknowledge that we will always be works in progress. The great psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan spoke of humans as êtres manquants, or lacking beings, this isn't a condemnation, but a fundamental truth of the human condition. We are inherently incomplete. There will always be something missing, something more to learn, something more to become. Perfection is an illusion, a cruel mirage that keeps us chasing an unattainable ideal. But here's the beautiful twist. This very lack, this inherent incompleteness, is the birthplace of desire. If we were perfect and complete, what would we strive for? What would motivate us? It is the recognition of our imperfections, our lack, that fuels our yearning, our creativity, our drive to connect, to grow, to achieve. Desire in this sense isn't about filling a void to become whole. It's about the journey itself, the dynamic movement toward something that calls to us. Overcoming self-doubt, then, isn't about eradicating imperfection or silencing the inner critic completely. It's about embracing our lacking nature with courage and determination. It's about saying, yes, I am imperfect. Yes, I have flaws. Yes, I will make mistakes. And that's okay. It's about understanding that these are not reasons to hide, but integral parts of our shared humanity. The wisdom of confronting our inner worlds and forging our own paths echoes in the words of other profound literary and psychological figures. Hermann Hesse, in his explorations of the self, illuminated this internal battle. As he penned in Demian, I wanted only to try to live in accord with the promptings which came from my true self. Why was that so very difficult? And further, the bird fights its way out of the egg. The egg is the world. Who would be born must first destroy a world. These sentiments speak directly to the profound courage required to shatter the shell of external expectations and internal doubts, to break free and trust the arduous flight towards one's unique destiny. This journey towards authenticity finds a psychological counterpart in the work of Carl Rogers, who emphasized our inherent capacity for self-actualization. Rogers championed the idea of trusting one's own inner experience, famously stating, "The good life is a process, not a state of being. It is a direction, not a destination." This underscores the importance of embracing our unfolding experience and fostering a self-acceptance that, as he noted in his curious paradox, is precisely what allows for genuine change and growth, even when the path isn't entirely clear. This continuous becoming is also mirrored in the vibrant narratives of Gabriel García Márquez, who, through his rich chronicles of life's intricate tapestry, reminds us of the relentless nature of self-creation. In Love in the Time of Cholera, he observed that human beings are not born once and for all, but that life obliges them over and over again to give birth to themselves. This suggests that our journey is not one of awaiting perfect clarity before we act, but rather one of continually birthing ourselves through our choices and actions, embracing the vital impulse to pursue our dreams. These diverse voices remind us that the journey to selfhood is one of courage, of breaking free, of trusting our inner direction as an ongoing process, and of perpetually birthing ourselves anew, even when absolute certainty remains elusive. So be you. Be your gloriously imperfect, lacking self. Follow the flicker of your unique desire, the one that persists even when doubt tries to extinguish it. Understand that feeling incomplete is not a sign of failure. It is the very engine of a life lived with passion and purpose. It is what makes you human, and it is profoundly okay. The journey to ignite your life begins with this courageous confrontation. It starts by acknowledging the doubts, understanding their origins, and then, crucially, choosing to act in spite of them. It means taking that first step, however small, towards the thing that calls to you, even if your knees are trembling. Listen closely. Beneath the clamor of your doubts, beneath the anxieties about choices and the fears of inadequacy, there is another voice. It's often a whisper, soft and easily ignored, but it's persistent. It's the voice of your intuition, your inner wisdom, your true self. This voice knows your potential. It knows your desires. It's urging you forward. Confronting your doubts isn't about achieving a fearless state of perpetual certainty. It's about learning to dance with uncertainty, to make fear your companion on the journey rather than the gatekeeper that blocks your path. It's about choosing courage over comfort, action over apathy. So, I ask you again, what if that doubt, that very thing you've allowed to hold you captive, is the key? What if, by facing it, questioning it, and acting in defiance of it, you unlock a power you never knew you possessed? Ignite your life. Confront your doubts. The world is waiting for the unique fire that only you can bring. Listen to that inner whisper. It knows the way. Take a breath and begin.